Welcome to the Couple of Friends podcast. Today we're featuring Slander Ent. We got a full house as you can see. This is your pilot, Nigga Sulu, JB Smith.
And I'm your host with the most, Zanga Fielding. Unfortunately, my better half, our multifunction
Job coordinator?
Everything.
Yeah, everything. She could not be with us here today. But, of course, we've replaced her with two other individuals. And
Acquired by your chief requisitions officer, Brett. Went out and acquired these two young gentlemen here.
We got a zebra in the house.
When you say acquired,
Set things in motion to where we are in the same place right now.
We are in the house that Slander built.
yes, we are. And let's get to know our two members of Slander here today. So, I guess we'll start off with you, sir.
My name is Hot Dog Chen. I'm that dude from the shadows who like to come in blazing every now and then. This is my helper. Stay in your lane. Which she hasn't been doing as of late. Stay in your lane. Tell them about yourself.
stay in my lane. Okay. My name is Said Senpai. If I had a lane, I wouldn't know it.
I use blinkers.
You want to tell you why they call him the senpai? Because he don't notice anybody. He don't notice his time. He don't notice the people. He don't notice what that we sitting right next to him right now.
There's people in this room right now?
He doesn't know?
Didn't even know it. All right.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
okay.
That's a level of obliviousness I have never seen.
Who said that?
So I guess to start us off, tell us a bit about who you are and how you got started.
All right. I practiced this a bit. So this all started maybe about 6, maybe 7 years ago. And we were actually like on Facebook, like just chatting with each other about comic book stuff, anime stuff, theoretical anime battles.
I was telling them they were wrong and correcting them.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I felt the need that if he was in my face, he wouldn't say it like that.
And I told them, scared money don't make money. We can meet it. We can dance if you want it.
So we decided to take our Facebook arguments in front of a camera and start meeting up regularly just to see how it goes.
Okay, bad.
That's the friendly story we tell everybody. Real
Yeah.
story is, it was two people talking smack behind the Applebee's.
That's right.
One of them threw the N-word. We slid up there and said, let our powers combine, and we laid the smacketh down upon their candiest of booty.
And then like, what did we call you? And I was like, Slander. I was just playing. We always like tell half truths and half lies. But just keeping it 100. Like I said, we did kind of start off on, all of us were friends.
Met back in college.
Yeah, met back in college. I left town, came back, and it was like, let's start these chats up and whatnot. And then we got, like I said, we got the idea to meet up in person, throw a camera behind our Facebook conversations. And from there, it kind of just spun into something that we have right now.
He was like, hey, I like talking crap. You like talking crap too. Let's film it.
Yeah, and so we had several iterations of what Slander was back in the day. And we have what we have now just based off of those, testing, getting feedback from other people, and just really throwing stuff out there, see what works, what doesn't work. We'll talk a little bit more, I guess, maybe later about what we have going on right now.
Definitely.
Okay. So you guys started out as friends and just decided to take internet debates in person
Yeah.
and record them.
So basically, like what I've been saying around the house, where every conversation that we have that goes past 5 minutes needs to be recorded because it's always some great shit.
And my thing is, you ain't gonna be no keyboard thug with me. You wanna talk trash, I'll drive to your house.
Right.
I know how to track down your IP address.
Put your maps up, dog.
Pull
Exactly.
up. Turn off the VPN.
Turn your locator on.
Yeah.
See how real you is.
Put your GPS on. Let's see what's up.
I'll beat the Cheeto dust off you. This show does not promote violence.
And then reach you to a chicken bite box afterwards.
Exactly. I keep barbecue sauce on me. Like literally though.
The best kind. The best kind.
Chick-fil-A.
So can you tell me some of the, I guess, as far as what's under the Slander Entertainment blanket?
Yeah, so it took us a while to kind of define all of these things, but like I said, broad category, anime, comic book, nerd stuff in general.
Okay.
We have several shows in the work. By shows, what I mean is like skits, shorts, short films.
Like nerd problems, like different stuff that nerds go through that most of us understand.
Okay.
Like watching a movie and how it compares to a book.
Yes.
Only nerds would kind of get how that feel.
Yeah.
But what I do love about this whole culture is that the word nerd is so universal, it can apply across the board. And,
Right.
we address that in every aspect. It doesn't just have to apply to anime.
You're a card nerd.
Yeah.
You're a car nerd.
Board
You're
game nerd,
plane nerd.
book
you're
nerd,
Tech.
Yeah.
You're an aeronautics nerd. You're a navigation nerd.
robots.
If you obsess over anything, if you do anything more than 3 hours a day,
If you're part of the Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster, this is for you too.
if you have some obscure
All
ass
hail the
knowledge,
meatball.
congratulations, you're a nerd.
If you knew about Battle Angel Alita before it was a movie,
Congratulations, you are a nerd.
join us.
Or you just had HBO as a kid.
Or you like Dragon Ball Z, which is everyone. Like that, and that's.
Not everyone.
Not everyone.
Not everybody.
There are a lot of people that consider that to be 100% garbage.
Or if you hate, or if you hate Dragon Ball Z, join us.
If you viewed it.
If you've watched a TV show
If you know what the word
and
is,
you like the character, come on, just come on over, man.
Even if it's Buffy.
goodbye, Mr. 10.
All you Supernatural fans,
Oh God.
y'all are nerds too.
Carry
Just
on
come on in.
I'm a Supernatural
Come on
fan up to a certain season.
It'll be peaceful when you are done. Lay your weary head to rest.
Don't you cry, no. We swear to you that we're lacking.
Oh yeah. Oh, T not moose.
But that's what kind of got us into this, and that's one reason that I like, going out to convention is that you meet different aspects, the spectrum is so immense of what people love,
Yes.
and meeting new people and seeing these fandoms, not the toxic ones, is what brings us, currently into this fold, and I love it.
Right.
I mean, if you are part of a toxic fandom, we can still have a conversation up to a certain extent.
Right.
To a
Be
certain
respectful.
But respectful. What's that word
Right.
you use?
Be respectful.
Thank you.
Respectful,
Put some
meaning
respect
treat
on it.
people how you would like to be treated.
RESPECK. Rest in peace, Aretha Franklin.
Find out what it means to me.
Also, don't y'all come for friggin' Tevin Campbell on Twitter.
Don't do it.
Because she's still getting drugged.
Yeah.
Still.
Me
Like,
too.
as we record, like she's getting drugged.
Mm-hmm.
Stump the mud hole, walk it dry.
So,
They installing brakes just to beat them off her.
Oh God.
Jesus.
So,
Damn, that was good.
you mentioned that you guys go to cons. I would want to ask what's your favorite, but I'm not going to ask because who knows, maybe they won't sponsor.
The answer is all of them.
Sponsor you.
All of them
That's
are great.
easy. Our cons is whichever one's post us for a panel.
Sure.
Yes.
Those are our favorite cons.
Speaking of which,
Any con that provides an audience, I love you.
okay, speaking of which, you guys are doing a panel at an upcoming convention, actually. Which one?
There's a convention coming up.
I believe it's one of the small, less notable
Smaller
ones.
ones?
I think it's called Dragon Con.
Dragon Con? Dragon Con.
Really?
Oh,
Really? Tell us about Dragon Con. Really?
It's this small, insignificant thing that brings like 100,000 people to Atlanta.
That's it.
That's about that thing downtown every year, right?
Yeah, the massive party where people let it hang out with their weighing out.
Oh,
Stuff
okay,
like-
okay, yeah, yeah.
But yeah,
Okay.
we're actually doing 3 panels. I'm doing 2, one covering Luke Cage and Black Lightning.
Okay.
And then we're doing one as a group inside the asshole.
Okay. Well, it'll be called Back Alley Beatdowns since for some reason Dragon Con is a
Dragon Con censors us,
Dragon Con is censoring people?
which is weird.
Dragon Con is censoring people.
so
Do you
there's-
know?
not to throw shade at Dragon Con because like I said I like Dragon Con.
Yeah, I
but,
love Dragon Con.
There's
but
new clips coming.
but there's another con called MomoCon, which
Yeah.
is very family friendly. Bring your kids, all that stuff.
Mhm.
They let us call our show what it is on the internet inside the ass whooping. We go to Dragon Con and it's very Dragon Con is very.
We
just-
like your show, but can you please tone it down? We don't like the curse word in the beginning.
Could you call it Back Alley Beatdowns? Sure. So on literature,
Yeah,
our show
yeah.
is called Back Alley Beatdowns. Real life, it's called Inside the Ass Whooping.
Yeah,
That's what we do.
Yeah, Inside the Ass Whooping is actually pretty hilarious. I was actually watching the one that you guys just put up with Hulk going against all of the Avengers.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
beautiful.
And if you notice, we always like to say that we put on a show.
Yeah.
We don't do panels. We put on a show.
Yeah.
We get the crowd involved. It's crowd participation.
Because if they're not having fun, we ain't having
Of
fun.
course.
Yeah, I've been to some panels at some conventions, and I've literally fallen asleep. And I'm like, how is this a panel? Like, it's two people sitting at the
Got
front.
them one-on-one.
It's a.
Sorry, just to put shade on a certain panel.
We went to a hip hop one. I fell
Oh,
asleep in
Lord.
their face. Like, you know when they keep the mics there when you ask questions? Walk into the mics, they laid on the floor and snoring. I was like,
bruh.
I fell asleep at a con and during a panel at MomoCon. It was like the DC furries.
What?
It was weird, man.
What?
It was like a DC
that's a
panel.
subculture and a subculture.
Right.
Right. It was like a
Right.
DC panel, but they were talking about like animal crossovers, like crypto doing this with Bat Dog, and I'm like, why am I here, bro?
I mean, like, I know that there are, like, the animal sidekicks, and there are a couple of, like, animalistic villains,
yeah.
and a couple of heroes that channel animals.
But the thing is,
For
though, I
example,
was,
Harley Quinn has 2 jackals.
Yes, Harley Quinn has 2 jackals.
that room was full though.
I don't feel like it needs to, I don't feel like that conversation needs to go further than that.
Yeah, it really doesn't.
Harley Quinn has 2 jackals. Okay, moving on.
Yeah.
But I fell asleep in there because it was just so freaking boring, and the room was full.
Did you know that there's a bat cow?
I didn't know that there is a bat cow.
There's a spider pig. You know what he does? Whatever a spider pig does.
Right. Like, I mean, but that's
Peter
a Simpson. That's a Simpson thing, though. Right?
Spider-Ham.
No.
I'm sorry.
Spider-Ham.
There actually is Spider-Ham. You're right.
Simpsons, Tenet.
Yeah, but they did it. They did make it happen.
I believe we have new topics coming up.
Maybe. You're done with the DC.
So as senpai, I kind of keep us, regulated.
Okay.
That's what.
If we were the A team, I'll be Hannibal.
Okay. All right.
We all have our own personalities.
Face all day.
You already know. I'm Murdoch.
That's how Mrs. G by default.
No, you're still
You can be
good.
Maracas. You cool.
Yeah,
This one.
You can
I mean,
Mohawk.
you all peaceful though.
I'm just Murdoch. I want you to know.
Am
that.
I?
Nah, I mean not really. You loud. I'll give you that.
Why am I loud?
Cause you pity fools.
He pretty.
Goddamn right.
So,
Oh, my apologies.
I have a question, because like we met up, and we've talked a little bit about like all of the writing and things that I do, and you guys talked about how you guys are working on different shows and things like that. So I kind of wanted to know what your guys' writing process is. Like, how much time do you guys like spend like brainstorming about stuff? Do you collaborate? Like, do you collaborate or deliberate about certain plot points and how things are gonna?
So generally, the way I come up with concepts, I'll be sitting there, just doing whatever, and all of a sudden, bam, like, oh, that's an idea, and I run to say it because Say's job is to kind of curve stuff,
Right.
to make it realistic.
ADD with a sounding board.
Exactly. Like,
Right.
he's the checks and balances.
Right.
So when we were like, hey, let's do this, he's like, wait.
Let's think about this
Let's
for a
pump the
second.
brakes. So then we'll sit down, we'll have an entire session where we just spitball ideas, brainstorm,
Mhm.
and then after that, we'll construct the script, bring the script in, dissect it, and then after that, we have our finished product, and we'll bring our actors in for a course of reading,
Mhm.
so we can kind of have everybody feel what the roles will be like,
Right.
and then finalize the shoot date.
Okay.
Like, case in point, we have a shoot coming up soon for a movie a short that I wrote called The Room.
Okay. Now, is
White
it?
White Room, sorry.
Okay, I was gonna say, cause like, are we gonna see Tommy Wiseau?
It's not, no, it's
It's not that one?
It's
got nothing to do with hard acting and marks?
oh, no, it's,
I say we'll just say the details for later.
Yeah.
It's a little philosophical short, and it kind of just gets to the point. But I think people will like it when we get a production out.
Is it inspired by Thanos at all?
That's an interesting question.
Alright,
It's
okay.
like you can't just outright say no.
you probably caused it.
Okay.
You know what? Spoilers, no.
But yeah, we always have a lot of projects in the queue, and when I say in the queue, like just lined up as far as what we want to do. We'll plan out a timeline of what we want to do throughout the year. I've been working on a short series for a minute. We're gonna do more production on that after Dragon Con.
Okay.
We also shoot like music videos as well.
Yeah, we have a friend who is becoming us doing a music video. We're gonna shoot another one for him, like I said, after Dragon Con. And yeah, it pretty much like we're a production company.
Yeah.
So we're putting ourselves out there in pretty much any platform. Testing
Connecting
our
artists as much as you can.
Yeah, testing our limits, increasing our skills in pretty much whatever area we can.
But our main thing is to get more of us out there. Like when I'm searching for media online, I see sprinkles of minorities out there.
Right.
And I feel like there's an audience out there
Oh, of course.
for a majority of minority people. And we're not that heavily represented because of the, I hate to go out that point, like it's majority white male dominated.
Yeah, to that point, about 3 or 4 years ago, I watched this video, like I found this video on my Facebook timeline, Michelle Rodriguez talking about how,
Create our own.
right, like how we need to have our artists and our writers get out there and start rebuilding what we had before all of the
Superhero
massive
stuff.
ass whitewashing that exists in culture today.
Okay, that's probably what she meant to say.
It didn't come out.
It didn't come out that way.
Because the way she came out, because she was like, well, you know, minorities taking over like pre-existing with roles that were white, and I was like, you do know there was a Fast and Furious before your Fast and Furious, right?
Right.
And all those are white people.
And mostly better.
Yeah, and you know, like I admire that Fast and Furious has grown into superheroes with cars.
Car wizards.
Yeah, it's car wizards.
All they have to do now is just go to space.
Like, as a matter of fact, I feel like
Correct.
Fast and Furious is not too far from hitting the Gundam phase.
Well, and because look at the jump from street robbers to now
Right.
espionage, James Bond actors.
Like, we just diverted an entire nuclear disaster in our cars.
With our
But I live my life a quarter mile at a time.
Well, you can't possibly do because you drove more than a quarter mile to do this.
Exactly.
The power of family.
But my whole thing, and
You just took your foot off the tiger's neck. Like,
but that's one thing I do love about that we are being displayed more in the medium now.
yeah.
But you look at Netflix, like shows like Luke Cage, you have like
Black Lightning.
Black
on
Lightning, which is an
CW.
amazing series.
Amazing.
Amazing.
And like crazy thing is, Black Lightning has always been broken since he came out in I want to say it was the 60s.
Oh yeah,
70s.
70s.
they turned him down.
Like,
They toned him
he
down
has
for the
been Jesus since his inception, and just was completely glossed over because why? White
Because
people were afraid.
Because he could be
Because
Superman.
if we knew that there was somebody out there that would look like us that could drag Superman any day of the week, even if he had a cold,
Icon.
it was a whole ass problem.
DC does have a habit of like buying other companies,
And then suppressing the fuck out of them.
yeah, not using their characters.
Vertigo.
Yeah.
Vertigo, friggin'
Image.
Was it
no,
Milestone?
No.
yeah, Milestone,
Yeah.
yeah, Milestone.
Jumping. Oh, sorry.
No,
Oh, I just wanted to jump on Black Lightning for 1 second before we get off. One of my favorite, hardest lines from Black Lightning. Somebody comes up to him and say, "Hey, why do you go by Black Lightning?" He says, "Because when I come in the room, I want them to know what's coming."
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Shout out to CW for playing Timmy Turner on that last episode during that scene in the woods.
Apparently some people didn't like it. We had a negative comment on our
What?
YouTube review. Like, this episode was dumb. Y'all dumb for reviewing it. Timmy Turner in the fight scene, that's dumb.
Timmy
I'm like, man, just let it be. This is for everybody.
That scene went hard.
This is for everybody. Like, I don't care about designer or whatnot as an artist, but you know, it works. It
Who cares if he has bras in Atlanta?
Oh.
And then after that, I can't understand it.
I don't think he knows.
So I had a bunch of questions like lined up for you gentlemen. But what ended up happening was you would just answer those questions as you were talking. So
would you like to do like a rapid fire repeat or something?
no, not at all.
Okay.
Let's just keep it as organic as possible.
Yeah, okay.
But you brought up minorities and such,
Okay.
which is really good. How do you feel about LGBTQ representation?
I don't think it's being represented. I love, okay, let me rewind that. It's being represented, it's not being represented as much, but I think shows like the CW are taking steps to rectify that.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
I believe that I need to see more Latinos, I need to see more Asian people represented. By the way, love Grace Choi.
I
love
appreciate Atlanta, like the Atlanta media culture so much for what they've been doing with the CW.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
But CW seems like to be the only medium.
That's-
Well, I'll take that
Well-
back, because Netflix and Marvel are doing it too.
FX, if I'm correct with Pose, I believe that's the network, but I only watch it online.
And that as well with the stuff that they're doing with American Horror Story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I think representation is up,
Mhm.
definitely up. Diversity is up. I'm glad that we're moving toward, because everyone wants to see themselves represented on the screen.
Mhm.
Like you mentioned Fast and the Furious, but Fast and Furious was only back because it shows minorities in the realm of doing
Right.
criminal activity.
Yeah.
And Fast and Furious is very hetero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very much so.
But then when you
Yeah.
have something like Black Panther, which people still don't understand why it was a cultural phenomenon.
Because it's the greatest movie.
It's
since
the blackest shit ever.
Well,
You know what? I'm gonna retract what I just said about Fast and Furious being very hetero, because I remember that American Dad episode when they found the script. Fast and Furious.
yeah.
So retract.
What happened on that episode?
There's a
For
whole
those who
lot
haven't
of
seen it.
there's a lot of implied homosexuality in every Fast and Furious script that's ever penned. It just never actually makes it into film in America.
Paul
Between Paul Walker and Vin Diesel.
Diesel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quarter file.
That's time for some wink.
But I will say this about LGBTQ representation in the media. I'm assuming we're going to talk. Are we talking more so nerd culture, or are we just talking about media in
And
general?
nerd culture, media in general.
Because I'll be honest, I only pay attention to nerd culture in the media. I don't look at too many other shows outside of things that appeal to like comic books and anime and whatnot right now, just because I'm point in time in my life. But it's a little more representation on these shows, like I said with CW. Is it being done right? Who knows? That's not for me to decide.
Sometimes it's not. Let's be honest.
I guess it depends on the show.
And I think that's a critique.
Yeah.
That's a good critique.
And I would definitely say that nerd culture has proven itself to be a bit more accepting than mainstream
Well, let me
media.
Let
Nerd
me-
media has been a little bit more accepting.
let me
The
challenge
culture
that for
itself.
1 second.
I can challenge that too.
So here's my issue with how so the nerd culture itself was an ostracized void because the masses at large deemed it as unacceptable.
Yeah.
So there was a culture of repressed, mostly white, well, seemingly white males, but of course minorities are part of that spectrum, but only massive white males were taken into consideration.
Of course.
Mhm.
So when now you were approaching the 20th century, now it's acceptable to be a nerd.
Mhm.
Oh, I own a Tamagotchi. Oh, I own a Game Boy. Oh, I play games now. And now being a nerd is at the forefront of the
Mainstream culture.
Mainstream culture.
Exactly.
Yep.
Now here's the part. Because those people were so ostracized,
Mhm.
now they want to play gatekeeper.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like, we define what nerddom is, which is mostly these majority white males.
Mhm.
Now, over time, acceptance with some give and take
Mhm.
has slowly started to accept people of color.
Mhm.
And right behind is the LGBT community.
Mhm.
But now you're facing on the front where you have white males who backlash against not only women,
Mhm.
minorities and the LGBT community. And on top of that, minorities going against the LGBT community too, so they can feel as part of the mainstream
Yeah.
white.
And actually, I had mentioned this when we talked about BlurredCon. It was almost like because the level of not hate that we saw. Right?
Exactly.
There was just a
Like you
general
had hood
level of
niggas,
love.
you had everybody
You
there
had
being
transgender next to cross-dressers, next to hood niggas, next to trappers, next to
And how many problems did you see?
not a
None.
single fucking one.
Because
And I
tradition-
said this. It's almost as though because we outnumbered white people, we didn't feel the need to put ourselves down in order to get favor from them.
Because it was like, hey, we're in the space where I'm not being judged for being in a costume, so why the hell would I judge somebody else?
Exactly.
So what's the unifying theme there of BlurredCon?
Black nerds.
Exactly.
which are the mass appeal is we're here because in the mainstream conventions
We ain't
we're
represented.
technically we're not represented and we're not that accepted even though they smile and look at us.
Hella token.
And one exactly and
Hella
one
token.
that pisses me off is I love Dragon Con,
Mm-hmm.
but I hate when I go there and I'm still seeing the stigmas because this is supposed to be the most accepting culture.
Right.
But when I go there, I'm like, oh, you're the black this.
No, I'm
oh,
just this guy.
but I'm still a big
Well,
black.
that's the cosplay
Well, it's not
community in
cultural,
general does a lot
it's
of
not-
stuff like that.
Or in instance, I'm still a big black man at a convention.
It's
which
not
means
accurate.
I'm also a threat.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, and this is the part that I feel like I hate. I don't really know how to express it, really. I don't think people even know how to talk about it. Where does reality and in fiction, as far as like cosplay and cons and all this stuff, collide?
Mhm.
Like, where do we draw the line?
Yeah.
And being a black man in America, in Atlanta, in the South, and all that stuff, I can never turn off being black.
Right.
Right.
And so I will always be black wherever I go.
Of
I will be
course.
black at this convention, and black is my reality.
Yeah, but here's my thing.
And so I'm not in a fantasy world where black does not exist.
Right.
And my thing, and I'm not a trope. I'm not something that you can just
Right.
wear as a costume.
Real shit. And then on top of that, like something that I feel most nerds like ignore or overlook is the fact that just about every mythos that we call a fandom has a multiverse theory.
Mhm.
So why is it a question?
You
So
don't-
why does it matter?
You don't want to get a straight.
Why does it matter?
You don't want to get a straight theory with me.
Because
We go to the other room.
for every
the
universe,
other board.
We don't have the board.
for every universe that there is a white Superman, I
There's a
guarantee there's a universe that there is a black Superman. There's a universe that there's a Mexican Superman. There's a universe that there's an Asian
On a
Superman.
side note, we sometimes spin off and we'll go into tangents about the reality shift, but you don't
Yeah.
want to. But one thing I also want to point out, because sometimes people are like, they're just talking out there. He's getting his PhD in educational psychology, and he's been studying social behavior for the longest.
I
So,
teach multiculturalism as well.
exactly.
Neat.
He teaches college courses
Okay.
about this stuff. So he has the backing and the demographics to show you what he's talking about.
Right, yeah.
So people are like, you guys don't know what to talk.
No.
He's kind of trained.
Fact
for
check.
that.
Like fact check the real
They
shit.
call me senpai for a reason.
Exactly. He has the degrees.
Like, I myself am a queer person. I'm mostly male presenting trans woman.
Okay.
Because it's dangerous being in Atlanta, it's dangerous in general.
Yeah.
Atlanta?
Yes.
Yeah.
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 You ain't finna go into the bathroom with my daughter. You ain't finna go into the bathroom with my daughter.
Pretty much.
But yeah, so I'm mostly male presenting. It's still interesting because, like, I'm also black. It is, like, nerd culture is weird. Like, super weird when it comes to the inclusion thing.
So one question, from your perspective,
Mhm.
and from your firsthand accounts, how do you see this culture has progressed from like maybe 10 years ago, 15 years ago? How do you think it's gone from that time till now?
See, it's kind of like a slope. It's like this weird chart where it was going and then it dropped down.
I'm thinking it may have something to do with political climates. Like they always want to say that
Cheeto
real life
Jesus.
does not. They don't want real life to
Interfere?
interfere with my nerdom.
Yes,
So
we're in
it always
But that's
does.
always been the thing. Like
we're
every
in the butthurt
comic,
era.
but
We're in the butthurt era.
But the thing about comics and media in general is that it's always a commentary of what's going on now.
Right.
Which is what. Why are you making these comic books political? Do you know what
Because
a comic book is?
It's a political satire.
How
Come on.
Yeah.
Have you not seen Captain America?
Captain America.
Always has been. Like you look to Marvel and DC to find out what's going on in the world at that time.
Art is a reflection of life.
Mhm.
Rap music was so violent because it was a portrayal of what they were experiencing in the community.
Exactly.
Your comic books are selling because of what they're portraying in real life. It's drawing a direct correlation of what you're experiencing. That's why people can relate to them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Matter of fact,
literally had Superman and Muhammad Ali in a boxing match because that was going on at the time.
There
It's
was-
crazy about popular.
there was
Muhammad Ali
10
was.
years of just comic books where heroes weren't like it wasn't clearly defined like what a hero was. It was the Attitude Era,
or the rise of the anti.
right? Or the rise
Yeah.
of the anti-hero, like because everyone was questioning. Well, we had this idea of what a hero was, but now we are seeing all of these people that we have labeled as
Deconstruction
heroes.
of what heroes
Right.
are.
Even think to the fact that they started giving real heroes real situations,
situations.
like Roy Harper doing drugs.
Right,
Mhm.
like not just doing drugs, but
Hard
going ham on that shit. Like,
Dr. Light raping members of superhero teams.
right.
Yeah.
But sorry,
And of course, Hank Pym
beating his wife, he
Right.
hit her twice.
Not to mention Jessica
That's on
Jones.
Sunday.
Not to mention Jessica Jones and the whole Purple Man incident, wherein she was abducted, brainwashed, raped, and then gave birth to her rapist. And no one in the Marvel universe even noticed.
Frank Castle coming back from war in the Netflix series dealing with PTSD, which is a direct correlation of how we treat our veterans.
Yes.
Mhm.
Well, that was always a thing because even
Yeah.
before he was in the Vietnam War.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you coming back, you have somebody coming back home with, because even back then, PTSD wasn't even recognizable.
Right.
It wasn't even real.
People didn't know that
It
was
was,
shit.
he just needs to take a salt tablet. No, he just saw his friend get his head blown off.
Right.
Why
Yep.
even address that?